Touchdown, Wesley.
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
And here we are. First Wednesday in July. Bill, can you believe it? Half the year is gone.
Nope.
Gone.
Nope.
I don't even know how we got here. And you know what? It's not even a generational thing, because I find if you talk to people, even kids, high school kids, college, all the way up to older people, they'll say, I can't believe it seems like it was just Christmas. It was just Easter. It's going way, way too fast.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome in, everybody. This is our number one of Man About Town. And we are a production of 321 Media here in downtown Westerly. And today our producer du jour is Dan, who is also a teacher and a girls basketball coach.
Correct, at Charahoe High School.
Is it harder coaching girls than guys?
You know,
it's a different set of stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some differences, right? But at the end of the day, like, I've coached guys and girls, and I say I coach basketball players. You know, you got to adapt to what you have, and
Good for you.
You know, and I've really enjoyed coaching the girls, though. You know, the group of girls that I've had, they've listened. They've been.
You got them up to Division I, you told me.
Oh, they did that, not
great.
me. But
well, you did it somewhat.
Yeah, they've worked hard. I got a great coaching staff around me, great support from the community as well. So when you have all of that, it leads to a lot of success.
Great.
Good to be here today.
We also have Division I from the library. He made the commute.
Oh, yes.
Bill Lancellotta, the assistant executive director. Bridget Hopkins is on what they always say, a well-deserved vacation. We don't know if she deserved it.
Vacations.
We
Sure
all
do.
deserve
We
them,
all
but
deserve
can I go now then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you and Dan can take
I do
over.
approve vacation time, so yeah. Go ahead.
Do you have one coming this summer?
Oh, yeah,
or-
in August.
Now that's a hot month. Where do you go in August?
We're going to Montreal.
Ooh. Do you speak French?
No.
Does your wife speak French?
No.
Okay.
My father-in-law speaks French, so he's going
But
to be
is he
doing
going
a
with
lot
you?
of translating. Yes.
Oh,
My wife's
okay.
whole family is coming. So.
Oh, great.
So.
Very good. It's I haven't been in years, but it's a beautiful city. And hopefully it won't be as ridiculously hot as it has been here. But in the meantime, tell us what's going on at the library.
Well, it's one of our favorite times of the year because it's summer reading.
And you were just telling me off the air that last Saturday was the kickoff.
Big kickoff.
And you
party,
almost ran
summer
out
reading.
of books.
Yeah. Well, we had a little inclement weather, so we had to move inside yet again. But it was a great success. The third floor was packed full of people. We were a little worried we wouldn't have enough free books to go out to last, but we managed.
Was this kids and adults?
Yes.
Because I know your reading program is for both.
Yep. Summer reading is for everyone. So
that's great.
All right. I have to sign up myself. So
I was going to say, do you have a stack of books on your nightstand?
Oh, always. Yes.
Do you get through them, or is it more
eventually? But I'm actually a very slow reader. I know some people who just rip through books.
Oh, I know some like that. You want to slap them.
Yeah,
you really do.
But not me. I kind of take my time.
Do you mix it up, all different kinds of books?
Yeah.
Or do you have favorite
bit? I do
authors
tend to steer toward some genres more than others and stuff like that, and certain historical periods that I
was going to ask, do you do the
with,
historical novel thing?
Sure.
And
well, more like historical nonfiction. So, but fiction, I usually big science fiction, fantasy sort of.
Well,
but then again, if it's a good book, it can be in almost any genre. And
good.
Yeah.
Well, with the birthday of the country in 2 days,
Oh yeah.
do you read?
Well, that's a period of time that I'm very fascinated with. So
yeah.
So,
I was listening coming in to a Providence radio station, and they had Greg Amore on, our Secretary of State, and they were interviewing him, and he was talking about history, American history, and about the Fourth, and it was fascinating. It really is.
And Rhode Island history in particular.
Yes.
Because, we got to jump on things over in this state.
You know, he pretty much said the same thing. He said he was a history major in school, and he said we did more things here than a lot of the other 13 colonies.
Yep.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
much for Greg Amore and the colonies. And July 4th, we'll probably get back to. I know we will when Howie comes in, because he'll be giving people tips. But tell us more about, tell us about the summer reading program. Is it too late if somebody wants to sign up now?
You can sign up anytime. So,
and what does it get you?
What's it get you? Well, for the kids, it gets you a free book. And I believe there are other prizes. But we have all sorts of special programs and everything that go all throughout the summer. Let's see.
I know you've got the Chronicle with you.
I do. But especially for youth services, we have, the theme of summer reading this year is level up at the library. So
level up.
So we're doing a lot of gaming themes, theme programs and everything like that, video games. And we're celebrating all kinds of games while leveling up our reading skills too.
Video games will get them in there, won't they?
I think so. Let's see. And every kid who signs up gets a free book. So teens can chill at we have a daily teen cafe from 2 to 3. Swing by for a cold drink and a snack. Teens love snacks.
But you got to be a teen. Right?
Yes, you do have to be a teen.
I can see DJ Gadget's lip going out as she pouts and growls. And
something new is Nails at the Space. It's a bi-weekly nail painting session on Wednesdays from 2 to 3.
Fingernails. Yep. Okay.
So come on over and paint your nails. Well, you can't, but teens can.
Wow. So, and you supply the nail polish and the stuff?
I'm pretty sure we will. Yeah.
Now they have to do their own. You don't hire professional nail techs.
No.
Okay.
I don't think
so. You're not competing with anybody in town.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think we can compete in that arena. There's also our Lunch and Learn series on Thursdays, teaching teens how to level up their lunches with fun recipes like ramen, overnight oats, loaded mashed potatoes, and pizza rice bowls.
Ooh.
So,
but ramen and mashed potatoes, you got to
have
heat.
Those are no.
No, I mean, you have to be able to heat them up.
Exactly.
That's not something you put in a lunchbox.
Oh, we'll figure it out. We do have microwaves.
Oh, okay.
Just
giving you a hard time.
and teens have a program with a Society of Women Engineers where they'll build air-powered rockets and shock absorber systems. And there's a brand new program called Mysticus Mindus, which is going to Mindus. I think it's Latin.
That sounds like something that you'd break in your knee, like a meniscus.
But it's going to teach kids how to be dungeon masters for D&D. So
that does sound like Latin, though.
Yep. Ben and Lynn are going to show them the ropes, and participants will receive an informational booklet, take a short test, and run a supervised game. So
you're finally getting dragon or dungeon masters, right?
Yes, we're training them. We've been looking for them. We figured we have to train them ourselves.
I mean, for years you've been sitting here, you and Brigitte, and there haven't been any. But okay.
And now
get your own.
The adults just have to wait for these kids to grow up, and then they'll run the adult version.
Right. And the kids will teach the adults.
We have we're expanding story times alongside with our regular Wednesday story times, we're going to announce Seaside Story Times in partnership with Westerly Recreation. So on Fridays at 10 a.m. at the town beach, we'll have Stories by the Shore. And we have a brand new pirate series.
Now, wait a minute. Let's go back to Stories at
Sure.
the Shore. So there's going to be somebody from the library who tells stories or
Yep,
reads
we'll have a story
stories?
time Fridays at 10 a.m. at the town beach.
And that's
So-
for little kids.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, well, big kids can listen in.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds like a lot of fun.
And we have a new pirate series. So save the date for the pirate treasure hunt in the park. It's July 24th from 1 to 3 p.m. Registration is required. And the pirate fun continues on July 25th with a pirate story time and picnic in the park from 2 to 3.
This is
So,
great. So
yeah.
are you going to be dressed like a pirate and arguing?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, jeez.
I think we might have to have you leave. Oh,
They may not allow me at the event.
well, they have used you before in costume for things.
They have. So,
Well, you certainly have plenty for kids.
yes.
That is terrific because not every family can send a kid to camp.
Mm-hmm.
Not every kid wants to go to camp.
Yeah.
And you're giving all kinds of alternative stuff, and there's no charge, is there?
No charge for
Wonderful.
anything at the library. Everything is free and open to the public. And I gotta put in a plug for my program, which is Wednesdays at 2. We just had it. Our initial program, Animation Nation. We do stop motion Lego movies. We've been doing it every summer for the past 7 years now, I think.
So you actually
So-
teach them to do it?
Yep. And the kids make their own movies and we work on stuff together. And it's
How
Yeah.
big was your class?
8 kids showed up today,
Ooh,
but it's
that's-
pretty much drop in when you can. It's like we don't have to have registrations or anything like that.
so it's every Wednesday
so
at 2?
Some kids can only come for one session, and I still try and put a little bit of their work in our end of.
And where
end of
do
the year
they
movie.
go? Do they ask at the front desk?
Yep, we're on the 3rd floor of the terrace room.
Okay.
So, yep, it's easy to find. Everyone knows where we are, so they can come in and
Well,
say,
they
"Where's
must-
the program?"
They must love that.
So, yeah.
Well, kids love Legos. So do adults.
hmm And they like to make Lego movies too.
Lego
So,
movies.
yeah.
And that's something they can take home with them, or
Well, they can. I can put the video files on a flash drive for them. Some people have asked to have copies of the movies they make.
yeah, I would think
everything, yeah.
so.
Because at the end of after the summer program is ended, I edit all the footage together, and then we have a pizza party movie premiere in October. So where everyone gets to watch
A
each
movie
other's
premiere?
movies, and yeah,
Cool.
Do you have a red carpet?
no, but I'll have to get one. That's a good idea. I haven't-
I think that's a super
be-
idea. And
yeah.
you could have people
we have pizza, we
interviewing.
watch movies. It's great fun.
That is
So-
great. How long are these movies? Are they just
Some
short?
are some are under a minute,
Yeah.
and some kids create these incredible, like multi-scene characters and everything.
And what's the
so,
age group?
9 to 12.
Isn't it amazing what
So-
some kids can do
Yeah.
with some of that stuff?
Yeah.
It is absolutely unbelievable. Their imaginations run wild, and the kids these days with some of that stuff, they're so creative with all of it. It's
Yeah.
really cool to see.
And they get really into it.
Yes,
Which
absolutely.
is amazing.
Yep. And I have some kids who come year to year and everything. And so, like, one kid started a movie last year, and then he ended it sort of on a cliffhanger. And he's back today, and he's starting the next installment.
Why
So it's
not?
like an old movie serial.
That's great. Well, they did it with Wicked, so why not do it with this?
Why not?
Right?
All right. If we could get some of that box office.
Is
that'd be
this
great.
all? I know you've talked about this before. Is this all your idea, your doing, so to speak? It's your baby.
Sort of. I started it when I was an intern in the children's room here. And, before I got my degree, and, I was as part of a class, I had to do an internship here. And they were looking for tween programming for
Ah.
that middle group, not little kids.
So this
not
was like your
teens
master's
and
thesis.
everything. So they said, "Can you
Wow.
come up with some program?" And I thought, okay, well, what would I like to do? What would the kids like to do? And so
That's
Lego
really
movies.
now think about it, because I don't know how many years before, 10, 20 years ago, um, libraries, if you were interning, you were maybe dusting the Dewey Decimal System or something. You weren't doing fun stuff like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Libraries are fun. They really
Yeah.
are.
Well, that's when I knew I definitely wanted to work at this library because, it's the best one.
It is. I have been to a few around the state, and they
Other
all
libraries are great. Let me be
Yeah.
clear. But
no, they all
we are the
have
best.
they all have something, but there is you also happen to have this park attached to you.
Yes.
This little park.
Yeah.
Not too many have that.
Mhm. Yes, definitely.
So what else
right.
is doing this summer?
So much. But I can say, we have a new feature for the Westerly Sun. We've always been able to provide articles for the Westerly
That's
Sun.
right.
But now we have the image edition. So basically, it's accessible through America's News, and you're going to see the Westerly Sun as it appears in print. So it includes all the photographs, the advertisements, and other graphics. So
And that goes all the way back. I mean,
uh,
because I know you've got the
starting
Westerly
with the
Sun.
June 1st, 2025 edition.
Oh,
So
so just
it's only the recent ones.
okay.
But now you'll be able to go in, and it won't just be before you could look up an article and jump around and read various articles. Now you'll be able to look at the paper as a whole. So
What about I've been wondering, and unless they're waiting to do it on a weekend, there've only been one or two pictures from Summer Pops, and I know that they took tons of them. So I'm just wondering, if they go on this, would they be able to see a whole bunch of images that maybe weren't in the daily paper?
that I'm not sure about, because this is an image of the paper as published.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think, but you'd still be able to do that just by going to the Westerly Sun website.
All right.
There you'd be able to see all the additional pictures they put up.
Okay.
So
Good answer.
as far as I know. And we also have those other papers with image editions, include the Province Journal, that's 2017 to present, and the Newport Daily News, that's 2019 to present. So
Very good.
yeah. And next time you're on our second floor, check out a wall. Anais, one of our adult service associates, she's been collecting all these bookmarks that people leave in books. And now she's put them on display as a museum of abandoned bookmarks. And
What a great
it's
idea.
upstairs.
You have a lot
it
of
includes,
creative
like,
people there.
menus and shopping lists. And
Yeah.
so if you've ever I left it in the book. And
Did she
returned it to the
find any
library,
money?
it might be on display at the library.
Years ago, older people would sometimes put $1 bill or something in. Did she, as a bookmark, did she find
I don't
money?
believe so.
Is she wearing different clothes these days, nicer jewelry? Or
Oh, well, let's see.
that's a heck of a good idea, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cute. So come take a look.
Yeah, I will. Speaking of your second floor, this is the first Wednesday of the month. What do you have in the gallery tonight?
The same thing as last month.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that exhibit, the
That was a state.
Connecticut Academy
Yeah.
of Fine Arts,
Right.
that is continuing through July 18th.
Okay.
So it started on June. It started in second week of June, and it goes through July 18th. So you'll still be able to come and look at that exhibit if you haven't seen it yet. It's really amazing.
And then July 18th, something new opens in the middle of the month?
No.
Oh.
No, we'll probably have our August exhibit starting the usual time. So
All right.
I think because this exhibit went so far into July, we weren't able to do a July exhibit. So
makes sense.
But this is a really amazing exhibit. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's the Connecticut Academy of Fine Arts, established by a group of renowned Connecticut artists who enjoyed national reputation. This was their annual salon show So they had a jury. I believe the picture in our newsletter was the winner of the jury.
You can always
Hmm?
hold it up to the camera,
Oh,
or
I forget.
no, that it is.
Here, I got you. I'll hold it up.
Here.
Let me move it this way. Oh, going the wrong way. There you go.
So I believe that was the winning painting. So
Really cool.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. But there's a ton of cool stuff in that one.
And by the way, what Bill is reading from is not just his notes. It's called the Chronicle. And if you sign
It's our
up,
monthly newsletter.
you can there we go. You can get it online, sent to your inbox every month. There's no charge. It'll let you know.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
It'll let you know everything that's going on for the month. And that's why Bill sounds so smart. He's reading from the Chronicle.
And I use it as a cheat sheet.
It's really
every
good,
month.
though. And
There's
that's
so much
fairly
going on. I
new.
can't remember it all.
No, there's no way you could. And also for different age groups, it's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have, speaking of art, you told me before we went on the air, you have a new artist in residence. Is she here already, or is she on her way?
Not yet. She is on her way, but she'll be having Tina Hersig. She's a visual artist, and she'll be having a open house at the cottage on Thursday, the 26th, from 2 to 4 p.m. It's called Champion Trees, Roots and Branches. So I assume the work she's going to be working on will be about the champion trees in Wilcox Park.
Right.
So, about Tina, she has a deep curiosity drives me to explore the inner workings of nature and our interconnected landscape. I find inspiration in elements of the natural world that reflect the passage of time, such as birds, feathers, nests, and forests. My creative process is deliberate and contemplative, marked by careful observation, collecting objects, sketching, and thoughtful assemblage. Through these practices, I aim to deepen my connection, not only with nature, but also my own life.
And where is she from? Does it say, or do you know?
Well, she holds a Bachelor of Science in Education and Fine Art from Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. She sought further artistic training and pursued a diploma program at the School of Museum of Fine Arts at Tufts in Boston, Massachusetts. And subsequently, she earned a Master of Fine Arts degree from Goddard College. Goddard College.
So she's from all over.
All over.
Okay, very good.
And she resides in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay, I need to ask Dan, are we taking a break at 3:30 for commercials?
Yeah, it would be a good time to take a break.
Okay,
right now.
We are speaking right now with Bill Lancellotta, he being the Assistant Executive Director of the Westerly Library and Wilcox Park. And we are going to take a break for some important messages from the local folks, and we will be back shortly.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required. D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
And we're back. And we are back with Bill Lancellotta from the Westerly Library in Wilcox Park, who's been looking at the Chronicle, which you could do on your very own computer. Or if you are not computer savvy or don't like reading from a computer, go into the library. You can get a copy every month. Just go to the desk. Let you know all the stuff that's going on. Like
next Monday, Thanksgiving Day football, Westerly versus Stonington.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, well.
Oh, you're making me hungry.
It's Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. in the auditorium. Join Zach Garceau to learn about the history of Thanksgiving Day football match between the Westerly Bulldogs and the Stonington Bears. The Westerly Stonington
oldest in the country.
One of the oldest. Oh, is it the oldest? It says one of the oldest.
I know that's always every year. That's kind of a point of contention. Yeah. They say the oldest continuing. They had to stop for the war. Did a little thing like that, but other than that, yeah.
Dating back to 1911. Played every Thanksgiving morning. The game brings together generations of fans to celebrate not just football, but the deep-rooted camaraderie and friendly competition between the two towns.
So when are they doing this? Because I want to make a note.
This is a Monday, the 7th, from 6 to 7 in the auditorium.
Okay.
Go Bulldogs.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun program. Reptile Nook. Learn and see animals. That's on Monday the 14th. So that's the following Monday.
Right.
From 10 to 11 a.m. in the terrace room. Join us for a reptile show with the Reptile Nook. They are dedicated to teaching people of all ages about reptiles and amphibians. We hope.
Are they actually bringing some in?
We hope to help people face their fears of these misunderstood creatures and help them to love and appreciate animals of all shapes and sizes.
So they're bringing them in.
That would be my guess.
Okay.
All right. So.
Yeah, our president just had a little camp built at Alligator Alley. Mm-hmm. Although he's calling it Alligator Alcatraz.
But I'm sure anyone who comes who might be a little skittish around reptiles, they won't have to get up close if they don't want to.
If they don't want to, okay.
Yes.
Will they teach the difference between a garden snake and something that you have to be afraid of?
Oh, I'm sure they'll be able to answer all kinds of questions like
okay.
that. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. But
unless you're afraid. No, I'm not afraid of them. If you had a mouse, I wouldn't go.
Oh, really?
But I would pick up a snake and it wouldn't bother me. But if there's a mouse, I'm down the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have to get a cat then.
I have a cat.
Okay.
He doesn't want to get his paws dirty. Move along, Bill.
Okay. Well, let's see. Hope people are enjoying the formal gardens at the Esplanade. It's now in its purple symphony phase with several notes of purple to behold, and the gardens will be transitioning to red and white phase as the particular flowers cycle into bloom.
And when would that be? Do we know? I mean, does it start like the end of July?
It says soon.
Soon. Okay. Speaking
I
of
don't
the,
have a particular date
speaking of the
because I'm not Ellen
Esplanade,
Peck.
you've been doing a lot of pop-ups
Oh, yeah.
with the friends,
The
right?
Friends will be back on Thursdays. Every Thursday, pop-up book sale in the Esplanade. It's always,
And it's what, like 10 to 3 or 10 to
that's in my
2?
calendar.
Yeah, for
here.
people that may
Yep.
be watching who don't live here, summer
Yeah.
people, or aren't aware of it, you got a pop-up book sale.
Yep. Every Thursday, weekly, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Oh, 10 to 1.
Friends, yep. Friends pop-up book sale. They just had a great one over in the Koi Cafe. Book sale going on over there. And so any other organizations that want to utilize the Koi Cafe should get in touch with Amanda through our website or everything. Check us out online and everything. If you want to use that space, highlight a business or a project that people are working on, it's available. It's great space for that.
And the rates are very
Yes.
inexpensive, I know, for nonprofits especially.
Well, in the park, since we've gotten through Garden Market Fair, Vert 2, and Summer Pops, we're now looking forward to hosting some theater. So we have the Flock and Colonial
Shakespeare.
Theaters. Mhm. The Flock will be doing Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, starting on June 26th. And
We're in July. It started.
Yep, it started. That's right. And Frank Ferrante's Groucho is being put on by the Colonial Theater, and that starts July 30th. So at the end of the month.
Groucho is not Shakespeare.
Groucho is not Shakespeare.
No.
No.
But I remember
No,
last year
I don't think the Colonial's doing exclusively Shakespeare anymore.
No, they're not, because
So-
they had the Hitchcock's 39
Mhm.
Steps or
39
whatever
Steps.
last year.
Last year.
Yep.
So that is.
But it's great because again, it's free.
Yeah.
I mean, they hope you'll make a donation, but you don't have to. You
Mhm.
bring a picnic with you, you bring a blanket, and you've got the
Mhm.
sky, the stars, the mosquitoes.
Yep.
Yes, bring some bug spray with you.
Mhm.
But it's a beautiful way to spend a summer evening.
Yes,
it really is.
So, and you can't beat the setting. You just
No.
can't.
You
So-
can't with all those great trees.
Mm-hmm. We have, for our summer reading theme, we have Game On every Monday in the Teen Space, 3 to 4 p.m. So
Oh, so this is a different theme than Level Up. This is Game
this,
On.
well, this is no same theme. The summer reading theme is over like multiple programs, multiple departments, and everything. So, but we do have a Game On. We're doing gaming in the Teen Space from 3 to 4 p.m. And we have adult retro game night. That's Wednesday, the 16th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That's for 18 and over. So it's not for the kids, but it's going to be a lot of old retro games. We're going to have
like old Trivial
Nintendo,
Pursuit.
old NES system set up, Sega, Atari, all the
old
old stuff for old people.
mature
Exactly.
games for mature people.
Yep. And we also have Family Games Galore is going to be Tuesdays weekly. So that's for families with kids from 0 to 8. So, and they can come in on Tuesdays from 2 to 3 p.m. We'll have all sorts of gaming going on.
When you say 0 to 8, what kind of game can a 2-month-old play?
Got your nose.
Alright.
Peekaboo, maybe.
Yeah. At
Um,
2 months old? Okay.
well, we won't turn them away.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we're saying. We'll never say, oh, that kid's too young. For
And actually, it
this."
gives the mom a place to go and a
There you go.
break.
Sure. It can be the game of talking about how cute the baby is.
All right.
So you can make a game of that.
Very good. You're very good on your feet.
So, yeah. And let's see, other program
Oh,
highlights.
while you're looking and while Brigitte is not here, I did speak to why do I never remember her name? Who does the Monday column in the Westerly Sun?
Oh, Cassie.
Cassie. I did speak to Cassie, and for those of you who were following Bridgette's promise and her progress that she was going to get off the couch and do a 5K or whatever. She didn't get off the couch. However, there's next year
Mhm.
or the next time Cassie does it.
We'll have to make a concerted effort.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
She may need some convincing.
Yeah, well, we tried, didn't we?
Well, you notice I did not offer.
Because you know better.
All right. Actually, I should. All right. Next year, I'll convince her by doing it
you-
myself. We'll both
Okay.
commit to it.
All right.
All right.
And I try to remember what Cassie calls it. It's from couch to
Couch to 5K.
5K.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does
So-
it over what, like 8 weeks or something?
Mm-hmm.
And she will take any couch potato and get them to
Mhm.
run, except Brigitte.
But
I
next
will
year-
remind
year's
you
the
next
year.
year.
Next year's the year. We're going to do it. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we have way back Wednesday movie night.
Huh?
So on the 30th from 6 to 7:45 p.m. Legally Blonde.
Oh,
will be
that's
the-
a popular one.
Yes.
And that's
So-
considered, yeah, I guess that would be way back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, when we started talking about these movies, some people are like, "Oh, that's not that long ago." It is that long ago.
Yeah.
So
I know when our movie guy comes in here and he talks about, he had one not too long ago, the 41st year anniversary of, like, they're going to do Spinal Tap. And I
Mhm.
said, oh yeah, Rob Reiner's Spinal Tap. That was a few years ago. No, that was a lot of years ago. Yeah, he comes in with those and it's amazing
Yeah.
how much time's gone by.
what was it? 50 years
For
It was
Jaws? Yeah, 50 years.
My wife's actually going to be out in California this weekend and seeing a screening of it with the Los Angeles Philharmonic doing the soundtrack.
Oh, they're going to do the John Williams stuff.
So
Great soundtrack.
yes. What else we got going on? Christmas in July. Ugly sweater contest. Everyone has to do this one.
You better have good air conditioning. It's been hot and humid.
That's Thursday the 24th from 6 to 7 p.m. So we'll help you bring in a old cruddy sweatshirt, and we'll help you decorate it and make it even cruddier.
Oh, okay.
It's for all ages. You can make the ugliest
So you
sweater
can
ever.
bring in something with a Grinch on it and you'll make it look even worse.
Even worse.
That's pretty
Okay.
impressive, if I do
Christmas in
say so
July,
myself.
Ugly sweater contest.
Boy, libraries have changed.
Mhm. Yep. And we have a lot of our regular programs going on. Crafternoon to go, Kids Take and Make, YouTube Yoga. That sounds different.
YouTube yoga. Okay.
Yes, Mondays, 7th and 21st, 9 to 10:30 a.m. I'm gonna have to look.
Well, obviously, it's going to be a yoga class that somebody has done that's
Mhm.
on YouTube.
Yep. Oh, other events coming up. Dawnlands Experimental Music Festival, Saturday the 5th. Oh, is that July? Yes.
I would
From
hope
12
it's
to
July
5.
if you've got the July
Yeah.
book there.
And of course, we have our URI Master Gardener kiosk on the 2nd and 4th Saturday, the walking tour of Wilcox Park.
When is the walking tour in July?
Native Flowers and Trees is the 2nd Saturday, which is the 12th, from 10 to 11:30. And the Specimen Trees tour is the 4th Saturday,
That's the one I want to
the
see.
26th, from 10 to 11:30 a.m.
So that's the 26th, 10 to 11:30.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard Alan Peck talk about this for so long now
Mhm.
that I really would like to. I mean, I've walked around and looked at them, but I want to
Mhm.
hear
Yes.
somebody who knows what they're doing tell me about them.
And there's so much to learn about the trees and
Right.
everything. I mean, we have quite the collection. So, and we have our SWE NESS workshop, Mission to the Moon. That's the tween program. and that's Launch It is on Saturday the 19th
Mission
from
to
1
the
to
moon.
2 p.m.
Okay.
Yes. Where did I find that? Excuse me as I leaf through the Chronicle.
While he's doing
Yes.
that, I can tell you, for those who, again, may have just moved here, and I've met a lot of people lately who
Mhm.
have just moved to Westerly, you can just go in and sign up and get a library card for free.
Mhm.
And what's better than to take your child or children with you? They really like that.
Mhm.
That becomes like a prize to them. I
Yeah.
have my own library card. So it is free to anybody in Rhode Island, actually, right?
Yeah.
Or Stonington. Is that correct?
We serve all of Rhode Island and the towns, every part of Stonington, Pawcatuck, the
Right.
borough.
Okay.
Mystic,
But not North Stonington. For some reason, I
not
remember
North
that.
North Stonington. no.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And we are
Did you
happily
find something?
receive some support from the town of Stonington. So, and we're very grateful for that and everything. So we're happy to give them access to everything they have. So they get all the Connecticut stuff from the Connecticut libraries, but they can also come over here and get access to everything in Rhode Island. So,
You got any more social stuff coming up?
oh, we
They
always,
did, Dan, they actually did a golf tournament within the library,
Really?
miniature golf, but they have more fun where they name every hole
you
with
mean a
literary and
fundraiser.
yes, fundraiser. And then
That
there's
is such a
food
good
at
idea.
every hole and teams, and they have a lot of fun. So
we are in the midst of planning.
yeah.
So I can't say anything right now
Okay.
because
But you've got such great creative minds over there. I mean, you really do. I mean, I think about Stacy and I think of Amanda, and I shouldn't Cassie. I shouldn't just talk about them because the gals that are in the maker space are amazing.
Mhm. Yep, we have quite the team. Everyone comes to the table, brings fresh ideas and everything. So yeah, it can be tough to pick them.
Yeah, well, I would assume that when they are hired,
Mhm.
that's what I don't know if Brigitte does all the hiring.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they look for is
Mhm.
somebody who's got something different and can bring something. Like Ben
Mhm.
is really good at what are the games he's good? The
The
video
Dungeons
games.
and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yes, and he also does video gaming. I forget what
Yeah, he does video
platform it's
gaming.
on, but basically he does these walkthroughs of video games, and they're
I know
yes.
the tweens
so
love
many
him.
views on YouTube and everything.
Yep.
So I'm not sure again what platform that is because I'm old.
You're old. No, you're not old. That means you can see Legally Blonde.
I could have seen it in the theater when
Right.
it came out, right?
A way back movie.
Yep. And that it was the Society of Women Engineers that have that rocket building shock absorber systems program that I was mentioned.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Can they
yes.
change oil?
Can they change oil? Hopefully after the program.
Probably. Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll have a how to change oil program.
No, I just thought, these, I'm always amazed.
For the kids.
Yeah, but you've got STEM programs and STEAM programs, and women are getting involved more than ever before, and I think it's great.
We have our tech social for older folks. Hopefully, well, it's actually for all ages.
This is a phone.
Yes, it is for all ages, but it's very helpful for older folks. Anyone having troubles with the technology or just wants to get together and gripe about technology.
You do really well with that. Like right after Christmas, when somebody in the family gives grandma some kind of a device and she's just staring at it. That's when they go and they learn.
Yep. We're constant trainings.
Yep.
With
can they do all devices? I mean, iPads and I mean, is there somebody there who can help them with any kind of device?
I'm sure. And if it's something we're unfamiliar with, we'll learn how to
Or get
deal
banned.
with it. Exactly.
I mean, that is such a good resource, though, because technology has just changed so quickly
It changes the minute you buy. It's like buying a car.
Mhm.
You drive it off the lot and it's considered a used car.
It really is unbelievable
And-
how fast technology has grown over the course of even like 15 years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to remember when I got this phone. I think the first time I got it, it was an 11 or something. This one might be a 13. I don't even know what number they're up to now, but it's considered by people that are really into that. It's obsolete now.
And well, with my job, you sort of have to keep on top of technology because we use it so much
Yeah.
and everything. And we do have all these people coming in asking for help with technology. So we sort of have to be on top of things over at the library. So it's like,
But I'm
but
sure
if we weren't doing this all the time, I don't know if I'd be able to keep up with what's going on. You know, you guys are right. It's a ton. Things are changing super fast, and everyone's confused by AI.
Yes. I
you know.
was with one of my publishers this morning, and I've never seen him thrown by anything. And he said, I can't do my bank statement because they've switched to an AI assistant, and I haven't learned how to do it yet. And I've got to figure out when I'm right. I said to him, just write the checks. He said, yeah, but I can't. And he really was, and he knows this stuff.
Yeah.
And he was really thrown by it. He said, why did they have to go and do that? I said, you're asking the wrong person. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I ask my computer information now, it automatically goes to AI, and it never used to, but it just automatically does. And I read the stuff and I think, but how true is it? How do I know this is completely accurate?
And folks
It's a nice tool, but
folks have to be careful with AI. They have to realize it's a tool, and
right.
it can be abused. It can be not used properly.
Yeah.
It's because you know, I've been playing around with it myself, and I've found out that okay, I ask it to do something, and it's a good starting point. But then you have to go in, and you really have to.
You have to double check.
You have to go in and change stuff. There's not anything. If you're doing something worth doing, there's not anything that's going to do it for you. It's going to help.
You still have to do your own research.
You still have to do it yourself. Yeah. And people are getting confused and tripped up and everything, thinking, oh, well, I'll just have AI do it and then hand it in as my own work or whatever. It's not going to, it's not going to work.
But well, of course, we'll all be gone by then. But I was going to say, will there be a time when the robots are going to do everything?
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. I've always had nice things to say about them.
I don't like the ones, though, that they say one day they'll do all the talking for us.
Yeah.
I mean, then we're going to be back in caveman, writing on the walls, with Og or something. I mean, we're not going to know human voice anymore.
I'm going to send AI Bill next month. AI Bill will be on the show.
I see. Will he come with AI Brigitte?
Oh, probably.
Wow. That really is scary. It really is. We've got about 5 minutes left. I think maybe unless you have something brand new, you might want to go back over some of the things for people who might have tuned in a little bit late. Anything, I would think number one is where you started, the reading program, if they want to join that.
You can join up anytime throughout the summer. Kids get a free book when they sign up. It's great fun. We have all sorts of programs built around the Level Up at the Library theme. So we have all kinds of gaming options. We have a new Seaside Story Time Fridays at the town beach, beginning on the 11th. So that's 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. And come for cookbook club. Come for our
cookbook club is always nice because you eat, right?
Yes.
You talk recipes,
Yes.
but you bring food with
Oh,
you.
you got to bring food too.
Yeah.
And stuff. And this month is Vegetables Unleashed on the second Wednesday.
Unleashed.
So,
Okay.
Yep. Everyone picks up copies of the cookbook and picks a recipe from it. So check out our website. Contact, I think it's Amanda now, about joining the club. So we have our knit and crochet group. We have eccentric stretching in the park.
How many people do you have at the library?
Staff?
Yeah.
Oh, we have about 38.
Wow. And each one of them
that's
is
library, park,
yeah.
behind the scenes,
And they're
everything.
all specialized in
Mhm.
some way.
Yeah.
Which I think is so great.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about it, and I'm talking now to the
Mhm.
audience, you got 38 people there to help you do anything and have a great time doing it. There's just so much there. And to go in there and say, I don't know how to do something, they love it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you look helpless in their eyes. It's like, oh boy, I got a live one here I can work with, which is great.
And our staff really love to help people.
Yeah,
I think
it's very obvious.
You talk about what we look for before in staff, and yes, it's the creativity and it's the ideas they can come up with and everything. But really wanting to help people and stuff is probably, I would say, the most important thing we look for. Because if they haven't got that, they're not going to succeed. You know what I mean? You have to be someone who just enjoys helping people. So.
Yeah, it is absolutely not just a job for them. It really isn't. They are all so great over there. They are. So Bill Lancellotta, thank you. We'll tell Brigitte you did good. She can make sure you get a check next week or whenever.
All right.
But thank you so much for coming. We are
you.
going to take a break, a short break that might go longer while we wait for Detective Howie Mills to come. He will be here next, and he'll be an important one you want to listen to. He always is, but there's a lot going on in town now. There are a lot of people coming in. There's a lot of traffic, and he maybe can give you some tips, thoughts, and ideas. You're listening to Man About Town. We are on 321 Media, and we'll be back shortly.
Game in a fun and meaningful way. Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski.
Game in a fun and meaningful way. Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street has everything you're looking for. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course, adult karate. It's not just about getting fit, it's about building your self-confidence, discipline, and that unstoppable feeling you get from all your hard work. Stop into Kiefer's Martial Arts today to sign up.
Are you looking for a fresh cut in Westerly? Step into Rio's Barber Shop in Granite Plaza. Whether it's a classic trim or a trendy new look, we've got you covered. Experience the perfect cut for every age and style in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. At Rio's, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Visit Rio's Barber Shop in the Granite Plaza in Westerly or give us a call to schedule your appointment at 401-315-2208. Your style, our craft, Rio's Barber Shop.
At Dime Bank, we're all about community. It's who we are. Local communities made up of customers, families, and friends. Business owners invested in helping their communities thrive. Dedicated employees committed to giving back in ways that go beyond banking. If your banking relationship leaves you wanting more, come join our community. It's your bank, your choice, your dime.
Hi, I'm AJ Trust.
And I'm Jeff Swiderski with AnnieMac Home Mortgage's Momentum Group, your trusted partner in the home buying process.
At AnnieMac, we can strengthen your offer with our innovative program, Cash to Keys, giving you a competitive edge by allowing you to make a cash.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski, owner of Broadview Florist and Garden Center in Duns Corners. For over 40 years, our family-owned business has been your go-to destination for beautiful, custom-made floral arrangements. Whether it's a special event or just to brighten up your day, we create highest quality designs tailored just for you. Trust Broadview Florists to make every moment unforgettable. Visit us today or give us a call at 401-322-0390.
Let's all go to the beach. I wanna go to the beach. Cold weather sucks, let's get some relief. I'm telling you it's well within our reach. Take me to the beach today.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Duns Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Duns Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Welcome in to the second hour of Man About Town. And because it's the first Wednesday of the given month, we do have Detective Howie Mills with us, who's having a great time talking to Dan because they both went to Charahoe. But before you get into telling us everything that's going on in town, like the ridiculous traffic, I'm going to tell you something I saw on my way over here.
I can only imagine.
And I hope if you ever see it, you will be gentle and you won't act like a cop.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now we have people all around the country who are watching this and all
Okay.
over the world. And I've been told by some of them that they can see right out these windows. They see the library, they see at Christmas time our decorations. And I want to point out to these people right out there where that white car is driving.
Yeah.
And
Which white
that's
car? I see 4 white cars.
all right, where they all are.
Okay.
In the center, there is a circle and there is a fountain in there.
There is.
When I was coming here, I parked in the post office lot. And when I was coming here, I did a double take and I wished I'd had my phone and my camera with me at the time. There was a guy holding a dog on a leash. It was a German Shepherd bigger than me. It was probably about 130 or 40-pound German Shepherd who was having the best time in that fountain, cooling off, drinking the water, had his head back, and there were people stopping. That if a policeman comes by, he doesn't yell at them or say, "Get that dog out of there," because the dog was just having a good time on a hot, humid day. Now it's up to you.
Okay.
And I'll be
I
very upset if
so
I hear you did something.
I have one better for you.
Okay.
Bill was here because Bill probably remembers this several years ago. We went to the park. We got called to the park for somebody that was sitting in the fountain in the park.
In the fountain.
Yep. Reading the newspaper because it was a 90-degree day. and he was such a, he has since passed, great guy. He was
So
hot.
they called the police?
Somebody called the police because he was sitting in the fountain.
But he was dressed, right?
Completely dressed, but he was like
he was
hot. Sitting on the inside the fountain, but he was only his knees were in the water the way he was sitting. But it was just great because he was just sitting there reading the paper.
That is so funny. Was he in a chair or just sitting
like the
in
way the fountain
water?
is designed? He was sitting like kind of in the fountain, but like his body was kind of out of the water and his feet were in the water. And he was just sitting there reading the paper.
He was cooling the pressure points.
Yeah, he was just cooling himself off. And again, I didn't go to the call, but having known him, he was pretty funny. And he made a funny comment when they asked him, like, why would you be sitting in the fountain?
Why not?
Right. As reading the paper.
Well, if ever you wanted to see joy, that dog was just in heaven, having such a good time.
I bet. We have, dogs, and anytime we get a chance to go to my mother's house, the dogs, first thing they want to do is go in the pool. They enjoy it.
Yeah.
So how was your last month? Was your last month good?
I don't even remember.
Did you work the pops?
It went. Oh yes, I certainly did. I was going to say it went so fast. I have worked the pops for the Westerly Rotary Club probably about 30 times, about 30 years.
Yeah.
And never have we run out of food like we did. Before intermission, we ran out of Dells.
Wow.
Before intermission, we ran out of 240 hot dogs.
That's a good thing, though, right?
Yeah, it's a great thing, but it wasn't great for the people who were in line. The pizzas just kept coming from Mario's North End. And we had a lot of partners in town, like the Navigant Credit Union gave us a grant to buy the Dells. And the pizzas kept coming and they gave us a really good price so we could make some money on it. And we had soda and water and chips. And our friend who's here every month, Bill Doherty from the Mystic Luxury Cinemas, South County Cinemas, Madison and Westbrook, they gave us all the popcorn and they gave us these giant bags they give us every year. There were 18 bags. We ran out during the second half of the concert. We were able to raise, after expenses, over $11,000 that will all go to the chorus and then some.
That's awesome.
And we do that every year. We knock ourselves out. We work hard. A lot of sweat under that tent, but we did very, very well. I didn't see you. Were you there?
No. So a couple of things. First off, I want to say that what the Rotary Club does is amazing. You know, I look
Yeah.
up. You know, I've gone to your meetings. I've gone to dinners with you at the Rotary Club. What you guys do, I think, is just absolutely awesome.
Thank you
it's-
on
it's-
behalf of 30 plus people.
Yeah, and every person I've ever gone to and I met that's a Rotarian. I think they're all great people.
And
that-
I should interrupt just for a minute. One of our Rotarians, who is still semi-active, 2 weeks ago turned 100 years old, Joe Negrelli.
Yeah,
He's been a Rotarian for 56 years.
That's awesome.
And the other one who's been a Rotarian forever, and I don't remember how many years, it's not 56, but it's close, is Dr. Doug Rayner.
Dr. Rayner's amazing.
Yes. So yeah, I mean they're the grand old men of the Rotary Club, but then we go all the way down into the 30s.
I'm not sure, but
age-wise.
Dr. Rayner might even delivered me.
He might have. He delivered almost 10,000 Westerly babies.
Yeah. I'm interviewing
Which is-
Rona today.
It's perfect. I love this. Great conversation.
Yeah. So
Well, we'll get back to
Yeah,
basketball
yeah,
too.
right.
I
So-
want to know. Well, I do know.
Yeah.
I was showing people the other.
Oh yeah. So real quick, I just want to say. So unfortunately, I had family from Maine, so I couldn't make it to. And this is the first
That's
time in a long time that I didn't make it down to the Pops. I've worked it for many years. Last year I did not work it, and then this year we had family from Maine, and my daughter was pretty bummed out because she really loves. And you know, you see her and I always like come down to the
Yes.
Pops and walk around. And
I only saw because it was so hard after a while that they were coming in 2 lines, and I'm not really very tall. I couldn't see over to see, police. I saw one police, and I know there were more, but just before things started, Hopper was there doing his sniffing, checking around.
Yes.
And from what I understand, there was no trouble that night in the park.
There usually isn't.
I know sometimes you get some wild kids running around, and
Kids
but
are being
that's-
kids sometimes,
yeah.
right? And you just got to tell them to, knock it off, or you're gonna have to leave the park. None of them want to leave the park because all their friends are in the park and they're just
Right.
having a good time. But it's usually, usually there's really not. Our police presence is pretty high that night. We hire.
Oh, I know it
You know,
is.
quite a few officers to work the detail, and then there's the patrol officers that are working the normal beat, and then you have the CSOs that are doing the traffic. So it usually there's the presence is pretty high down here for it, and we have a mobile command unit that we set up down here. So if there is any trouble and somebody does have to come with us, we can bring them right to the mobile command unit.
We did have one Rotarian who had a medical problem and had to leave, but the command unit helped him.
Mm-hmm.
He drove himself home.
Yeah.
But he was not doing well, and he went to the command unit, and they helped him.
Was
They helped
he
him.
just not feel like? Was it probably the heat?
Yeah, it was that, and he does have an ongoing medical problem, and
Yeah, and the heat, that's a long day too.
he just couldn't breathe.
Yeah, it's a long day. It's hot in there. There's a lot of people
And
in there.
he had been there since the beginning of the day, bringing stuff in, getting the tents up.
Yeah, that's a
But
long day for anybody.
It is.
You know?
And then they stay beyond midnight so that the park looks beautiful in the morning.
That's why I said to Bill when Bill was leaving and I was arriving, I asked him how the park is looking. I'm sure because the park, they all just everybody does an amazing job of, you roll in there on a Sunday afternoon and it doesn't look like there was ever a Pops that night before.
Exactly. You can roll in there on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just perfect.
No trash. It's clean.
No.
Everything's ready to go. And how fast they build that stage every year always amazes me.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work.
And they
that
do a great
takes
job.
days.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. But they do a good job.
Well, anyway, what I started to say was yesterday, I was invited to a celebration of life in the cemetery at the cremation garden. And there were a bunch of us. And then the reception was going to be afterwards at the cafe next to the United. And by the time we got out of the park, it was about close to 3:30. And the weather was going downhill. So when the weather goes downhill, anybody that's on the beach wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all coming. They were all going to come down Union Street. And somebody said to me, "What should we do?" I said, "Follow me." We took every back road I could think of.
Yeah.
And we came out You know, we went down by the Armory and came up and around, but we all made it and but we know where we're going because
Yeah.
we've lived here long enough. Traffic this year, to me, seems like they came a lot earlier and there's a lot more of them. Is that true?
I mean, I wouldn't know the vehicle count off the top of my head. I just wouldn't. But visually, it seems like there is more.
Well, I'm going by visually.
And you know, just was a week or two ago, we had those couple of 90-degree days back to back,
that was
and the traffic to the beach is been pretty heavy. And then this is the first time in a long time where I've left the station at 4 o'clock, a little after 4:05 or whatever it is, pull out onto Airport Road, and I am stuck in traffic trying to get to 78 to go up 78 to go back to Ashaway.
Yeah.
So very rarely have I ever pulled out of the station and stuck in traffic right there. But last couple of times I've been stuck in traffic there, and I'm like, wow, that's not normal. You know, usually at that time, maybe people are staying later at the beach or what it is, or maybe it's just the beaches are busy. I just don't know. But
I had that pulling out of Stop and Shop, not where the light is, but that back road.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go left, and
Couldn't
I
do it.
just sat there for the long. And finally, I went right.
Finally,
I just went up and around because there was no way.
Yeah,
there was just no way.
And again, in a way, I guess we are lucky that we do know a lot of the back roads. It's
Right.
not like it was when we were younger, when there was really nobody had GPS, and you just, if you knew it, you knew it, and if you
That's
didn't,
right.
you didn't. And so, I want to say
They know Route 91 now.
Yes. So in the
Yeah.
early 90s, in the 90s, early 2000s, they came out with like that thing called like the TomTom or whatever it was, a couple of those little like GPSs that you could put in your
Yeah,
car.
exactly.
And people started using a little bit of them to like divert themselves. But now every single person's got GPS on their phone. Everybody. As long as you have a smartphone, you have GPS on it.
Yep.
And with that being said, it's very easy to now look at your phone, and if there's traffic on 78, you can now go on to 91 out to Duns
Yeah.
Corners Road, and then you go into the beach the back way. And years ago, it wasn't like that. Everybody just stayed on 78 because that was what they did, and or they came down Route 1A, over the bridge here, and the traffic was very busy down through Beach Street, down to the beach that way. Those are kind of the two ways. And with everybody now having the GPS in their hand, there's just more ways for them to kind of like beat the traffic and go around. But then it just makes other places that we normally go to a little bit busier. So when I used to keep my boat on Watch Hill Road, at a marina down on Watch Hill Road, I used to, go the back way, go down East Avenue, come down to East Avenue, you get to Watch Hill Road, and then you go down to Watch Hill Road. And in the last couple of years, trying to go that way, I'm stuck on a bunch of traffic on East Avenue at Watch Hill Road, trying to get onto Watch Hill Road, just because people are now also realizing, they can just, get off of 78, at the end of 78, take a right, go Wells Street, East Avenue, and kind of go in that way, instead of just staying on Airport Road. And because nobody wants to be in that traffic.
Have they been giving out a lot of those expensive tickets at the beach?
Parking tickets?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
So
you can't speed.
So just so everybody knows, our CSO program is in full swing. Parking enforcement has been increased downtown for the 3 hours, and the 2 hours down in on Bay Street, and
Watch
Hill, also for Larkin Road and the other side roads. So if you're parking pretty much anywhere south of Shore Road, that's all tow zone. So if you decide that I don't want to pay and I want to park on one of these side streets, and just leave my car on a side road, and there's a sign, and those are all marked, all the streets are marked tow zone, it's a $150 fine for parking in the tow zone. $150 for parking in the tow zone.
Wow.
So if you think you can kind of like sneak onto a side road down there and hide and then walk down to the beach, people that live on these side streets, they call immediately and say, hey, there's a car parked. I saw a bunch of kids get out of the car. I saw a family get out of the car, loaded up their with their beach towels, and they headed down to the beach, and they're parked illegally. So we usually will go down there and we'll issue the ticket. The problem is if you wait too long, and if one car does it and then there's no ticket on the car, and then a car drives by and they see it, next thing you know, you got 15, 20 cars that are all parking on the side road to walk to the beach, especially on those days when the state beach fills up and there's no more spots, and they shut the parking lot down for an hour or two. People look for any excuse or anywhere to park, because at that point you've driven 2 hours from somewhere in Connecticut or Mass. You've got your whole family in the car. It's 100 degrees out. and you get down here to the state beach and the lot's full. So at this point, you've spent gas, time with your family. You're here in Musqueamick Beach. You're going to get to the beach. You want to go to the beach, right? You're not just going to turn around and go home.
And that's when the children in the car learn new words from Daddy.
There's a good chance that they learn, but those
Wow.
things. And I've talked to some of the family that, you know, when you're down there and you're
that
trying to tell
has
people,
to be so frustrating.
you feel
for
bad
them.
for them too.
Yeah, you do.
Because, you know, they've driven this whole way. And I always explain to them, there are private lots that you can park at to access the beach. But unfortunately, sometimes the price to park at the state beach never changes. The price to park at a private parking lot, they can change the prices. The prices vary, right?
Yeah.
So
they can take advantage.
They're just the prices just vary. So with that being said, instead of paying like whatever the state beach parking lot price is, because it's full, you can't really go there. Now you're kind of, okay, do I pay the price to park at this parking lot that's private, and or do I take a chance to park on a side road?
Yeah.
You know, so it's a difficult call.
Wow, that's
an
expensive day.
It is.
Or it can be.
Yeah. And then a lot of times with Watch Hill, it's the same thing. On those really hot days, there's only a couple of private lots down in Watch Hill that you can
Watch
park your
Hill
car.
is tough. I mean, there's really no parking.
Yeah, there's just a
in the
couple
dead
of
of
lots.
winter. It's very limited there.
Yeah, because you have a lot of hotels, and you know, a few hotels down in Watch Hill, and then you have some of the condos that are above, which do offer some parking, but people have friends and family that come visit for the day, right?
Sure.
That's why you might rent one of these condos or own one of these condos. And then you have all the people that are parking to go shopping, and then you have people that are beach going, some people that are eating.
Merry-go-round, ice cream.
Yeah. You know, I have it, you know, many times I've spent time down in Watch Hill for my daughter to ride the carousel. Now she thinks she's too old to ride the carousel, which, you know,
She's probably too tall now.
She might be. It's just
you've got to be under 5 feet, I believe.
She's probably just above 5 feet now. Yeah, she's getting taller. It's just it's sad to see my daughter now like too old to do some of these things, and you're like,
wow.
Well, I guess if we go to amusement parks, she can now ride all the rides. But that being said, like I see her, you know, the child is starting to become an adult, you know, teenager.
And you don't like that.
No, as a parent, like, you know, you love it when your children really depend on, like.
Yeah,
I know. It's
no,
hard.
you said it.
Yeah,
you're right. When your kids depend on you.
Yeah, you kind of enjoy that, like, you know, because sometimes that's just the quality time. You know, when my daughter goes to friends' house and things like that, I don't mind driving her, just because, you know, that's actually the 10 or 15 or 20 minutes that her and I can have a conversation. I just got to tell her to put the phone down so we can actually have a conversation. Living in Cheraho, I guess no friends closer than 15 minutes because Cheraho's so big. Sometimes I'm always like, why? You know, we're driving all the way to, you know, the backside of Richmond, which is like a 25-minute ride to go to a friend's house. But, you know, it's at least 25 minutes so her and I can have a conversation.
Obviously, you drive slowly.
Well, it
doesn't take me 25 minutes to get to Richmond.
Right. I just enjoy the ride. I just honestly, I just enjoy the ride sometimes. You know, and then, you know, I'll tell her stories of, you know, I had friends going to Cheraho, myself, friends in Richmond and Charlestown and places. I'm like, oh yeah, I had a friend that grew up down the street from where you're going today.
Is she excited about going to Cheraho High School?
It's the excitement but nervousness, and I remember that feeling because when you leave the 8th grade at the middle school, and I'm sure it's the same.
Well, that's your cocoon,
right? And I'm sure it's the same way at Westerly. You're kind of stuck in these pods with your team, and that's what you're. Then all of a sudden, you go to the high school, and there's freedom there. You know. Also,
in 8th grade, you were the big shot of middle school.
Of course.
And now you're down
at the bottom as a freshman again.
You know, because there are seniors and juniors and sophomores.
Of course, and I remember all of that. But I just remember too, you go to lunch and you're in lunch with kids from every grade. You're not just in lunch with the same kids every single day from just your grade. And same with some of the classes. If you're, you know, taking a vocationary, culinary or carpentry or automotives or whatever, you're in those classes sometimes with kids from other grades. So you get to, you know, meet kids from other grades, and you go to take classes with kids from other grades, and your pool of friends also, I think, sometimes becomes, and I know mine did, becomes bigger because now you become friendly with kids that are in different grades.
She'll be fine. She'll be nervous the first couple of weeks. She'll be fine. It'll work.
She comes off quiet, and then, you know, she becomes talkative. I don't know where she gets that from.
All right. So enough for your family.
Sure.
It was great, though. Let's talk about, because in 5 minutes we're going to take a break, and you're going to
Already?
say already. Yeah. Tell people about things we should know in the summer around
Right.
here, because we have people watching who are vacationing.
Yes.
They're not all locals, and
So one of the things
what we got any big scams going on?
we'll
right
talk about
now?
that in the second half, but I think one of the things, it's just so people that aren't from the area that want to come and visit, beautiful area with plenty of beach, right? The issue that we have every year, and we do a lot of enforcement on it, is drinking on the beach.
That's right.
Obviously, as a juvenile or somebody that's not 21, you cannot consume on the beach. But if you're over the age of 21, you also still cannot consume alcohol on the beach. You can't be in possession of alcohol if you're underage, or if you're under the age of 21, you can't even consume it and or be in possession of it. You can't consume alcohol on the beach if you're over 21 either. If you ever go down to any of the restaurants on the beach.
I was just going to ask, if they go to the Windjammer, or
yes, they have certain areas.
Can they, well, they have their own
designated areas, yes.
But can they
cannot
leave the patio
they
area
cannot.
and sit on the sand with a drink?
Well, it depends on which place and where their drinking area is designated.
Okay.
But
the bartender would tell them
right,
that.
but you can't be at one of these establishments and then get a drink and then decide you're going to walk back to your blanket or your towel. You can't. You're consuming alcohol on the beach. So, they usually have, and all of these establishments do a great job of having somebody at those designated areas to make sure that you don't walk away with the establishment with a drink, because they don't want them to come back to them and say, why are you letting people get drinks? And
they would get fined.
Well, I don't know.
probably,
They just don't want to. They just don't want that headache. So
Right.
they do a good job of, trying to make sure that people aren't leaving their establishment with beverages.
And there's also no smoking on
There's
the
no
beach.
smoking on the beach, whether it's cigarettes or whatever else you're smoking. You cannot smoke on the beach. Cigars or whatever has it, you cannot do that. So, we're out there all the time.
And no dogs on the
That's the other thing too. I had it written down here. No dogs on the beach either. Back at, I think there's a date, and I think in September.
What about service dogs? I mean, people now go online and they buy these little things that say service dog, and they put it on any dog.
Yeah, I mean,
but a true service dog,
right? I'm sure that there's reasons, and there's things that are going to allow you to be able to do things like that. But I mean, I don't think anybody's going to have an issue with it. Especially animal control is the one that does the enforcement on it. So animal control does a really good job of asking the questions that need to be asked, and then knowing what paperwork they need to be providing when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's really not a big, huge deal, like middle of the day. And sometimes in the evening or early in the morning, people go for walks on the beach with their dogs. And there are sometimes, unfortunately, people sometimes that decide not to, pick up after the dog, even during the times of the year where they can walk on the beach. Sometimes
and they don't pick up after them. That's terrible.
It's not everybody, but there are instances where people do not.
Those
and then
people are entitled,
well,
Howie.
unfortunately, you have people that do the right thing, that see that, and then may confront them and say, hey, you're ruining it for everybody else. And then sometimes, unfortunately, you might have like a verbal argument that takes place. The next thing you know, you have to explain to the person, listen, if you see something like that, just, let us know. Because
let's take a short break,
already?
A short one, and then we will be back and find out if there are scams in town. From Detective Howie Mills, we are Man About Town. We are a production of 321 Media. We're in downtown Westerly live, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski, owner of Broadview Florist and Garden Center in Dunn's Corners. For over 40 years, our family-owned business has been your go-to destination for beautiful, custom-made floral arrangements. Whether it's a special event or just to brighten up your day, we create highest quality designs tailored just for you. Trust Broadview Florists to make every moment unforgettable. Visit us today or give us a call at 401-322-0390.
Let's all go to the beach. I wanna go to the beach. Cold weather sucks, let's get some relief. I'm telling you it's well within our reach. So take me to the beach today.
And we're back, and we're learning all the bad things that Howie did years ago. Yeah, it's always a great show that you people don't see.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are back with Detective Mills, and we always wind up talking about scams because there are always scams. They're never going away.
They aren't. And unfortunately, investigating scams as much as we do, and the bunch of the scams that come across my desks, it's weird. And it's not that it's weird, just scammers are so good at taking a scam that works, and then you kind of stop the scam, or you slow the scam down, and then they just flip it into something else. But it's the same scam. They just are running it a different way, or using a different technique to do it. And we always go back to when I started really doing a lot of work in scams back then. Western Union, they would have the people that were getting scammed go down to the local convenience store or wherever and just fill out a Western Union check and then send the Western Union check off. And then the other person, or the MoneyGram from Walmart, they do the same thing. And then they stopped doing Western Union and or MoneyGram because law enforcement in these establishments started doing a really good job at questioning people. Hey, are you sure this is legitimate? This sounds kind of fishy. You're sending this to this person you don't know through Western Union or MoneyGram.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they went to what? Come on, gift cards.
That's right.
Yes. So then
I'll still never, my mind, I guess my brain doesn't work that way. If someone said you need to pay me, so go buy gift cards.
And gift cards is still a thing. I was looking through,
or the music cards, the back of them, or whatever.
Yes.
It doesn't. That just sounds so fake. I don't know how people wouldn't think that way.
I know just recently somebody got a call that from a federal agent. They thought it was a federal agent, and they were told that the federal agent helped them with a few things, and then said, okay, well, the fee is you now have to go to the local store, kept them on the phone, had them go and buy some gift cards, and then scratch off the back of the gift cards, because that's all they need. They don't need the actual physical gift card. They just need the data on the back of the gift card, the security number, and the number on the back of the security code number. And then they gave it to them, and next thing you know, the card is empty in 30 seconds.
And that happened here?
It happens all the time.
Wow.
And recently, people that are getting scammed, they're accidentally giving some of their personal information away, Social Security numbers. If you don't know who you're talking to, please do not give out your date of birth and or your Social Security number. Unfortunately, if you do Google somebody that there's a chance you might be able to find their date of birth, because there's so much information out there. I'm sure if I used my name and my address and I kind of Google search myself, I'm sure somebody on one of these websites would probably have my date of birth. They would have several date of births probably, but one of those several might be the right one. And unfortunately, all they need at that point is really your Social Security number, because that's very hard to usually get unless you voluntarily give it to somebody.
Wow.
And then,
and the other thing I've been told is that if someone you don't know calls you, and you pick up the phone and they say, Is this Howie? Don't say yes, because by saying yes, they could be recording that yes and then using it that you said yes to.
Right. And that's why you always say, okay, who is this?
Yeah.
My phone is set up where if somebody calls me from,
And yet, if you're half tired and you're not thinking, someone says, is this, you're going to say, yeah.
I know. I unfortunately deal with it with my parents. Sometimes who believe that, they're doing the right thing and they're getting scammed and they don't realize it. And then I have to tell them you're getting scammed. And, they usually are understanding once I listen, you are getting scammed. You got to stop, hang the phone up. You're getting scammed. They're like, no, I think it really is. I'm like, no, it's not. You're getting scammed. It's not Amazon telling you that your account was hacked. Amazon's not going to call you and tell you that, and then, but having that conversation with them, because they just believe it, unfortunately.
So that's another one that Amazon calls and says you've been hacked?
Or emails you. And
yeah, I've seen it on email.
Yeah. People call all the time and say they're, federal agents or the IRS or they work for any of these companies. They use so many different tactics and so many different ploys to try to get information from you. And once they have your social security card information, and for an example, once you have somebody's social security number, you can get a cell phone in there, and have your social security number is usually linked to your cell phone. So somebody decides that they want to go, trade the phone in and upgrade their plan or whatever like that. I've heard of people going there and they find out that there's a cell phone attached to their social security number. That's not their cell phone. Same with I've seen this a few different times where they've called up the electric company because they're selling their house or they're buying a house and they want to, open up their service for their electric bill. And they say, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, you've had an electric bill, that's an outstanding one now for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I've never had your service before. I'm not even from the area. And it turns out that, somebody had opened up an electric bill in their name. And now, you're at this point of, okay, well, somebody's obviously using my information. I got to try to change everything. And now I have to work this out with the electric company and explain to them that it wasn't me and prove that it wasn't you.
Short of living in a cave, what can you do? I mean, it just seems like
it's hard.
You can't get away from it.
You can't.
And anybody could get caught.
Yeah, I think it's always good to, to randomly check your credit score.
Yeah.
To make sure that accounts aren't opened in your name. I get nervous about it because my wife, her account has been hacked a couple of different times. And a few years ago, not that I want to make her feel bad, but and bring it back up, but a few years ago during COVID, when you really couldn't do a lot, and her and my mom were doing a lot of hiking, and they were parked at a local area, hiking a trail. And then when they came back, somebody had smashed their window.
Oh.
And my wife did everything right. We go over these things. And one of the things that I always told my wife, if you're going to go hiking, her and my mom, before you get out of the car, put your wallet and whatever you have with you, put your personal stuff, in the back seat.
Or in the trunk.
No, you don't want to put it in the trunk.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they're gonna if the bad guy is sitting in the parking lot.
Oh.
They're gonna see you get out of your car with purses and pocketbooks, and they're gonna see you open up the trunk and set it in the trunk. So they're just gonna pop your trunk. They're just gonna take a lock popper and just gonna pop your trunk, and then that's it. And so I always told my wife, just before you get out of the car, put it on the floor, cover it with a jacket, or cover it with something just so it's not visible. If you do take that stuff with you, I always try to tell her not to take that with her. But my wife, really, her and my mom did everything right, and they came back. My wife's back window was smashed out, and they took both pocketbooks. Thank goodness that my wife and my mother both had their cell phones on them, which they would take with them when they go for walks, just in case there's an emergency and they need to call.
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
But they, with that being said, they ended up with my wife's driver's license. There might even have been social security cards in her wallet. I don't remember exactly what she had, but there was personal information in her wallet. And so
credit cards.
Yeah, she had to cancel everything. And
and that is such a pain.
And they hit a couple of other cars in that parking lot that day. And a day or two later, one of the other people that were involved, somebody tried to use their information, but were denied. So there was other victims that day that were in that same parking lot whose their information was attempted to be used, and it was it was declined at a bank. So that is out there. We deal with a lot lately is people going to banks in the area with legitimate information, except the picture is wrong on the license and it's like a fake license, or just fake paperwork, and they're going into local banks and they're trying to deposit.
Don't kids still get fake proof and fake licenses so they can drink?
Yeah, they do. But unfortunately what happens is you may so for instance, on my wife's license, right? If they cut my wife's picture out of her license and then put somebody else's picture in there, and it has all my wife's personal information in there, and then you go to a local bank and you want to open up an account, and then you want to put put a check in there, or open up a home equity loan or something like that, or try to remove money from her account. Especially if my wife's bank card is in there too. So now they know what bank my wife banks at, right? So it gets, there's layers to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, there are. It gets very, very intense.
What's good about this area, and I know we talked to Gina about it
at Navigant.
Yeah, Navigant last month. The local banks in this area are so good at knowing their customers that they're usually,
everybody knows everybody here.
Which in a way it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
If somebody goes to my wife's bank with a picture and shows a license that has my wife's information on it, all the girls at the bank and some of the guys at the bank that my wife does banking at, they know my wife. So they're going to be like, wait a minute here. And they'll, hopefully they do a good job of maybe stalling them, calling the police, having the police stop, get there before the person leaves, wanting to know, and try to determine why they have, a fake driver's license, and find out what they're up to or what they're trying to do. So our banks in this area do a very good job of, knowing what their customers are. It's when they try to do that.
Well, the police have been, and I know you've done a lot of it, have been great about going to the credit unions and the banks and educating the employees.
Yeah.
And most of the banks and the credit unions have their own scam people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which years ago they never had to do.
They didn't.
But now they do.
Yeah. And then recently too, I've seen it in the last several months where people have been, whether it's on Craigslist or different websites, they're posting either apartments for rent that aren't really for rent, and or houses for sale that aren't really for sale. And all they do is they just steal the photos from another post, and then they post it for rent. And then they'll throw a pretty good cheap price on there for an apartment. And they'll say,
and they want a down payment sent to them. Is that the idea?
Send it through one of these,
like Venmo or something.
One of those,
like Cash App.
Yeah.
Zelle.
See, I don't have I don't have any of that stuff. So like, I don't even have Facebook. I don't even know how to get on Facebook.
Yeah.
So so I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So if anybody tries to ask me to send something on any of those Cash App things or whatever, I always get like, I'm like, I have
so
no
you
idea
let your wife get nailed, and
and
you're a choir boy.
Right. I'm just like, hey, I'm not involved in any of that because I don't know what any of this stuff does. So, unfortunately though, and it's very easy because, talking to some of these people, and I feel terrible sometimes when you have to call, hey, Rona, this is Detective Mills from Western Police Department. Is your house for sale? No. Are you sure? Because your house is posted.
Just sold.
Well, no, your house is posted for sale, and there's a number on there, and especially now where people rent things for like bi-weekly or weekly, or they're here on vacation for a week. It's very easy to scam somebody that way, unfortunately.
I know.
And all they do is they just take photos from a post that somebody else has, and then just create a new post and put a different name on it.
I heard that from the people at South County Tourism, because people will contact them. They're from New Jersey, or because they advertise in those areas.
Yeah.
And they're coming here and they want a week at Misquamicut or a week at Charlestown, at the Breachway or something. And it's so hard to figure what are the legit ones and what aren't, and before you send your money away.
Yeah. And
that is hard.
It is hard. And I've told the story before, years ago, when I got sent to a call down the beach area for two families getting ready to fight because they both rented the same place
for the same week.
And then you get there and you talk to this family and they say, yeah, I rented it through this company. And then I talked to this other family and they're like, yeah, we saw a post online and we talked to the guy and he said he was going to leave the key. And when we showed up, this family's here. Now you got to determine, okay, which person actually really rented it. And then
how did you figure it out?
Well, it's pretty, honestly, figuring out part is pretty easy. So you just give me the number of the person that you contacted. And usually we know who does the renting. And so we'll reach out to them and say, hey, did you rent, to you? And you say, yeah, I rented to his family. And then I turn to you, Rona, and say, okay, who did you contact? And well, here's the person's number right there. And I call it now, all of a sudden it's busy or it's disconnected. And you talk to the people that do the real renting of it or the owners of it. And they say, yeah, I rented to him. And now I have to look at you and tell you, unfortunately, two things.
And they've driven here or flown or whatever. Yeah. Wow. And plus,
how about the fact that you're out? Like, that's the thing. I have to look at you and say, unfortunately, you're out X amount of money. And your family just drove a couple of hours and there's no place for them to stay.
Oh.
Man, so there's no way for you guys to, like, say you have that phone number, you try to call it, it's busy. Yeah. There's no way for you to, like, be able to trace it back to a certain individual. They probably do a good job of getting rid of it.
Because the other thing too, there's so many apps where you can change phone numbers too. And then there's track phones, right? So you just junk phones.
Yep.
Yeah, you just use for scams. And then you use it for a couple of days and then it gets hot and then you just throw it away. It's a track phone.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's very hard to track any of that down.
Yeah. Man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's
you
brutal.
Must have I would imagine, I know in the insurance business, the real estate business, a lot of businesses, they have to go for continuing education. You must have that all the time. You must have constantly be brought up. Here's a new scam, guys. Here's a new this. Here's a new that.
You know where education comes from?
The street.
Yes.
The people
that are getting scammed.
Yeah.
And because sometimes when I get a scam that comes across my desk where another detective has the scam, I'll read it and I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what's their end game, right? What's their ploy there?
Well, it's always money, isn't it?
Of course, it's not always money. At the end of the day, it all comes down to money.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm going to scam you because I just want your personal information. That's it.
Which then gets you
down
money.
the road. Down the road, though, I might just get your personal information from you, and I just scammed you for your personal information. That's all I got, right? But then, like 2 or 3 weeks later down the road, I now am able to open up credit cards in your account in your name and other stuff in your name and basically steal your identification. But I scammed you out of just personal information 3 weeks ago, and now on the back end, using all that personal information to now scam you even farther. But the original scam was really just to get your personal information.
When you catch these people, if you ever do, what kind of penalty do they get? Do they don't, please tell me they don't get a warning and get off.
No, they don't. But unfortunately, and scams come in so many different varieties and so many different ways. And unfortunately, there are times where you catch somebody because most of the scammers aren't from this area, right?
No,
They're just
of course not.
If they come here to meet a person to obtain product, funds, anything like that, and we end up catching them, right, and they're arrested, well, they're usually out on bail within a few days. And if they're from, I don't know, Ohio, right? Well, once they're released and they go back to Ohio, or whatever,
you don't see them again. They don't come back to be arraigned.
Yeah, I mean. Because a lot of times, if you're back in Florida or or whatever, that it's for a felony that's of funds, it's hard to get an extraditable warrant sometimes from all the way from Florida on something that's it's a little bit more difficult. It just is. So unfortunately, most of these crimes have so many layers of it where like a lot of the money goes overseas, but it starts with they hire people to be couriers or people that are just money mules. And sometimes they just don't know that they're a money mule, with like the love triangle, where that you think that you're in love with somebody that you've never met, but you talk to them all the time on the phone. And the person sends you flowers sometimes just to keep you believing, but they can never meet you or they can never FaceTime you because, their cell phone's broken. So they can't FaceTime. or every time they're supposed to come here and meet you, somebody in their family gets sick. But what they do is they use you as a money mule. They just say stuff to you like, hey, listen, my job, my account is messed up. Can I, wire? I have a company that I'm doing work for that owes me, $100,000. Can I have $100,000 wired into your account? And then once that money gets into your account, keep a couple $100 for yourself. And then I just need you to then send it to this person in Dubai that I'm doing the work for, and send him the money and to cover me.
And that doesn't sound fake to somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
But when you're in love,
I'm not getting involved if it's me. I'm
right.
good.
But when you're in love, because it doesn't start off like that. It starts off with just talking and seeing how your day is.
It's sad because if you're in love that way, you're a very lonely, desperate person.
Yeah,
if you feel you're in love,
I tell the story with the case that I had with a person that was down in North Carolina, and somebody was defrauded here, and money was sent into her account. And when I finally was able to have a sheriff down there get a hold of her after a couple of weeks, they finally got a hold of her, and I talked to her on the phone. And I questioned her like on the phone, just, I had a conversation with her, just talking. Then I said, okay, I got to ask you this question. How come this over $100,000 was put into your account, and I've already had the bank had already froze her account. Actually, they told me that they had already froze it from something else. And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, that's from my boyfriend. And I said, what are you talking about? And then she explained to me that her boyfriend was having large sums of money sent to her account because he was in, I want to say, Argentina, doing some construction work.
Doing drugs, selling drugs. That's what it sounds like.
What happens is, people in this area or in the United States are scammed, but it's hard to get the money out of the country, right? So what they do is they just use this person as a money mule. She's just a money mule who thinks she's in love, and the money gets sent to her, and then she just takes the money, and then she just distributes it to a bunch of different people. And that's all they do. And then sometimes now they've been turning it into crypto, because sometimes it's still hard to get US dollar out of the United States. It's you just can't just bundle like hundreds of thousands of dollars and then just send them in envelopes. It just doesn't work like that. So what they do is they now, lately in the last year or so, they just been taking crypto or whatever, currency that they want to use online, and they just have you just flip it into crypto. Like you go to these crypto machines and you just put money
in
in.
the supermarkets.
They're everywhere, right? And so now what they do is you would tell this girl that, because we're, I don't think crypto was a thing then, but at this point you would the boyfriend would say to her, hey, listen, take this large sum of money, withdraw it out of your account, and then just, go and turn it into, or she can just take it from her account on her phone now and just flip it into her crypto account, whatever she's using for crypto, and then just send it off put it on the blockchain.
Oh my God, my head's spinning.
And that's all you do is they just put it out on the blockchain, and then it just goes to the people that it's supposed to go to, and then the money is gone. This person, she was getting scammed herself. She didn't know it. She actually,
she didn't realize it.
She was buying this gentleman gift cards. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's showing you, this guy's having tons of money sent to your account and having you send it out of your account. And then he's telling you, keep $100 for yourself, but then he's asking you to go buy him $500 worth of gift cards because, he hasn't been paid.
Yipe. We've got about 5 minutes left, and that's why I want to ask you, tell the people, they've heard it 100 times and it's never going to happen to me, they're saying. But in 2 days, we've got July 4th.
Yes.
And I know in my neighborhood, well, we have one nut. He'll do firecrackers in the middle of February. But some tips maybe on staying safe with fireworks.
You don't shoot off fireworks.
Well, they're gonna anyway. I mean,
they are.
The shopping centers have those little tents there already.
Right. Well, there's a difference between aerial fireworks and the fireworks that kind of just, they're like sparklers. There's a difference, right? The one thing is, I hope that residents here in the town of Westerly they have to be a little patient, because when I used to be in patrol, that July, because I hear it in my neighborhood, they've already started shooting off. I can hear them at nighttime because my dogs are very sensitive for some reason to the fireworks.
Most dogs are,
and they see their ears perk up, and we'll be 9:30, 10 o'clock at nighttime, and I can see their ears perk up, and then they start acting different. Then all of a sudden, I open up my front door and I can hear some fireworks in the distance. But one of the things I like to tell the or I want to tell people that are calling to complain about other people shooting off fireworks, you have to be patient because we're getting numerous calls on that July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, even the July 6th, like that 4 days where we're going to have coming up.
Oh, yeah.
That it does take us sometimes because we're getting multiple calls on fireworks. You know, we're covering the whole town of Westerly, and there's fireworks being shot off. And there's also normal police calls, too, that they're going to normally always get. But along with now you're getting a high volume of fireworks calls, right? So if it does take us, you know, several minutes or so to get there to try to, like, you know, for your call for fireworks, you just got to bear with us a little bit because it's not, you know, we do get so many fireworks calls over this 4th of July weekend.
I bet you do.
So just be patient, you know, we're also trying to get there without, you know, anybody getting hurt. And, you know, and again, that sometimes I get, you know, it might take a little bit longer if the officers are out on another call. That's maybe a little bit higher priority than some fireworks, but they will get there when they can get there and check the area for fireworks.
And on that note, my friend, we will see you. I can't believe I'm saying it. We will see you the first Wednesday in August.
I don't want the summertime to go so fast.
I know, but it does.
I know.
Like the winter and the spring and everything else.
I know.
Dan, thank you so much. You have been a terrific producer.
Dan, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
welcome
nice to meet
back
you as well.
anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun here today.
Yeah. Oh, we always have fun here. We do things that are just on the edge. And this is when I always tell people, be safe, have a good weekend, but take a risk. Just don't do it on the highway next to me. But by taking a risk, you never know in life. Things might not work, but they might work out well. So don't be afraid to take a little bit of a risk as long as nobody gets hurt. We'll see you next week. We are going to have the Granite Theater's Kiss Me, Kate. They'll be just about ready to open. And Nicole DeMatte will be here with a couple of the actors. And also Serena Bates, our sculptor, will be here talking about the Tarzan project that's going on in town to build a beautiful, well, it's being built now, I've seen it, bronze monument to Ellison Brown, Tarzan Brown, who won the marathon, the Boston Marathon, twice, and was an indigenous person from Westerly. Very interesting story. We'll see you next week. Be well.